What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. I've just been to see Jack. Tell him how Dyno Day went. And I've got like a frothy mocha kappa lappuccino thing out of his machine. He's got a new toy, it's way better than my coffee. Anyway, right, so it is still Wednesday. Is he, no. Oh, someone new. Oh well. What was I saying? Yeah, we're doing this video straight off the back of the other one because I need a little bit of help. A little bit of help, but this is basically the midweek update. So there's a few things to go through. Obviously the first and foremost thing is to thank all these people that's popping up in the corner. I know I say it every time, but I really do want to thank them. All these people are chipping in to help fund the build of ASBO, and one of them is going to win it. If you want to find out what's involved and what the scoop is, everything is down in the description. So go and have a look-see, because it's, you know, if you want this, that's what you got to do, basically. But the other thing is to go through and tell you what the plans are and what we found out and what we're going to do and what's coming up and blah, blah, blah. So that's the important bit in this bit as well. So we've run it up on a dyno, and we've totally smoothed out the power curve. It is mega. You can run CV carbs on pod filters on a Bandit 600, and we've proved it. All right. So if you want to go the same route that we've gone, I'll flash up Crispy's details, but go and have a chat with him. Say that you've been watching the channel and following ASBO, and he'll know exactly the bike that you're talking about. But he is up for either supplying everything, so getting the kits in from Dynojet and the correct jets and all that sort of stuff, and you know, he could supply it on to you. Or if you've got a way of sourcing it yourself, if you want to go direct to Dynojet, you know, you can do. He's going to look up all the part numbers and just tell you what we've got on ASBO, and you can just go and get it yourself. Now, that is for ASBO, right? It has got a very custom exhaust, which we're going to get to, all right? It's a Mark 1 600 Bandit. You know, there's no funky stuff going on with the engine. It is as basically as stock as it's ever going to be. It's just that it hasn't got an airbox on it, and it's got that exhaust system. All right. However, when you stick it on your bike, the only way you're going to get it set up absolutely cock on brilliant is if you stick your bike on a dyno, right? So that's the caveat to it. It'll work, and it'll work quite happy, but will it be optimum? Probably not without a little bit of tweaking, but you get the gist, all right? So have a chat with Crispy. He's more than up for a yap. But the day on the dyno was really, really good. So there's a few things that we found out. I'll get the dynograph and I'll shove it up, and you can see, you know, see the chart that I'm on about. The top two traces, the red one and the blue one, was basically what we was doing with the lower one, the red one, was with 114 main jets, and everything else set up as it was on the previous run. So basically, as Dynojet tell you to run it, the only thing we changed was the main jets, and it's just evened it all out. And then to try and get it even better, because the AFR is saying that it's still rich, we just took the pod filters off. These are pipe across pod filters. There's two different sorts of foam in there. I don't know what the red one's like, but there's two different. So this obviously restricts air coming in. And it either wanted less fuel or a bit more air, and this was the easiest way to do it because I didn't have any more jets. So we just pulled these off, and we got the blue trace that you see on this dynograph. He's back. A fella's just doing laps, I swear it. So anyway, we got chatting, and there's a few different bits and pieces that we could do to try and help. Now, I've also got the MSVA test coming up. That exhaust is too loud. I still can't find my DB killer, but that ain't going to shut it up. And I was chatting with him about wrapping it, and he says, well, I do a little bit, I ain't going to do much. So realistically, I need to be building another exhaust system as well. So, hidden up there for ages, I've had this this wish can, right? Oh, hello. Collector just fell off. Connecting pot, whatever you want to call it, that bit. So anyway, I've had this sitting up there for ages, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another exhaust. I think So whoever wins the bike, you can have that exhaust anyway, right? And I've got a dynograph that shows how it's set up and how it runs and everything else. So if you want to stick that exhaust back on, then you can do so. But for MSVA, I ain't going to get away with that. This exhaust can is, you know, it's not a bad length. It's not a bad length by any means. And I'm thinking something that sort of lot, I might even reuse this, because it is basically new. But I need to make up a different link pipe and various other bits and pieces. But this would go on the other side, and I'm thinking of basically sticking it as a high level up here. Alright? And then on the other side, obviously, we'll have a link pipe that comes down and gets round to the collector down there somehow. I haven't figured any of that stuff out. But something up like that would look quite good, I reckon. Maybe even back a little bit. Something like that. So that's how it's going to be done. Basically, I need to shut the bugger up. I do need to shut it up. I'm going to look around and see if I can get one. Well, see if I can find an end can that's got a bit more packing to it. Because chatting with Crispy, if you've got a longer end can, which the wrapping is on the outside and it's not restricting the flow of gases, then that shuts it up, but it can also help out with power. So doing this, we might even get a few more ponies out of the stable. But I need to make the exhaust. But the biggest thing is it's going to shut it up. If I need to shut it up a bit more, then I can shove a DB killer down the end, and I can restrict it enough to get through an MSVA test. But we're not going to know until we give it a bash, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm giving it a bash. That's what we're doing. This link pipe, I think, measures at 51. I could do with a little bit of help at this point. If anybody has got a Bandit 600, preferably a Mark 1, can you tell me the width of this, you know, the diameter of the link pipe that you've got on your bike? Because I would quite like to try and match it. I don't mind it being a little bit bigger, so we can get rid of a few more exhaust gases, because, you know, the headers are off a race system. This is 51. I'm not sure if that's still too big. I don't know. I need to, you know, I need to find out basically. But if you've got a Bandit 6, if you could measure the diameter of the link pipe, just get a set of calipers and go across like that. That's all I need to know, and then I can make everything else fit from there. I'll just have to get some tubing and, you know, get an end can sorted and all that sort of stuff. All right. So yeah, whoever gets the bike at the end, whoever wins it, is going to get 2 exhaust systems. They're going to get that one, and they're also going to get the high level one, because that is a little bit noisy, and I can imagine whoever gets the bike, you know, is going to wear thin after a little bit. But if you want to run it with that, then you can do. I mean, it runs quite happy. Sounds mint on the dyno. Proper angry. But if you want something a bit quieter, then that would be the option that you would stick on, and you can have either. I don't really mind. The other thing is, with these things, we saw a marked improvement just by getting rid of these. Just by getting rid of these. Oh, actually, is that in the... Let me go and check the scrap bin. Oh, it sounds terrible when I say it like that. Let me go and check. I'll be back in a sec. Alright, no, I haven't got them. I binned them in my big clear out. Which is really annoying. Right. So, yeah, pod filters. They're going with the bike anyway, so you can have them. Quite happy with that. However, just by pulling them off, we've got the best trace on the power curve that we've had to date so far. It's dead smooth all the way up. So what I'm thinking of doing, just because I've got a lathe and I've got some alley, is making up some velocity stacks, right? However, because I binned them, I don't know what the stock ones are. I don't know dimensions or anything else. So this is the other bit where I need a helping hand. And what I plan on doing is turning up some aluminium velocity stacks, but I want them to mimic the ones that are in the airbox on the Mark 1 Bandit. So again, if you've got a Mark 1 Bandit, yeah, if you're working on it at the minute and it's all in pieces and they're readily to hand, you're ideal. But what I could do with is just a drawing, like a side profile drawing of the little trumpets that you got inside your airbox. They do just pop out. So it shouldn't be a biggie. But what I need to know, I mean, the inside dimension is kind of set, because that's going to be the opening to the carbs in essence. But I need to know how long they are, how long they're straight for, and what the opening is at the big end, if that makes sense. Just because that way I can mimic something up. And I'll have to figure out a way of, I mean, they're going to need to be slotted just so they clamp down on here. But, you know, I can try and come up with something that I can stick on there to mimic a velocity stack, you know, just to basically free up a little bit of airflow. Now, there's going to be loads of people jumping up and down going, don't do velocity stacks. There's no filtration to it. You're right, there ain't. You can get some that have got like a gauze, like a wire cover thing on the end of them. I don't know, I might have a look and see if I can find any and what they go for. But set of velocity stacks, one would look awesome. However, there wouldn't be any filtration. So, you know, insects, gravel, seagulls, if you're in Plymouth, small children, all that salad, whatever, can all get sucked into your carbs. And it just means you're going to get premature engine wear. I would like to run them just to see the difference on a dyno. And we are going to be going back to the dyno once I've built the exhaust. I might even get some smaller jets as well. I might get some 110s and just see what that does. You know, just out of curiosity's sake, basically. But I would also like to run the velocity stacks just to see what the best combo is and what we can actually get out of it. Is it a safe tune, or is it lean, or is it, you know, what is it? Where is the compromise got to be made, basically? So if I get those done, if I see absolutely no improvement, there's no point in giving them to anybody. But if I do make them, and we do see an improvement, you know, then I'll just give those velocity stacks to whoever wins the bike as well. So that's the other thing that I want to do. I did get the switchgear through for the buttons on the handlebars. You know, like a conventional setup, they look horrible. I'm not using them, which basically means I need to MacGyver something up for the choke operation. And I'm now on the lookout for some nice looking momentary switches. If it's not a van, it's a bloody forklift truck with a fella with a big old grin on his face going, I know you're filming, but I'm at my work and the gaffer said to go and get this. Anyway, yeah, so I'm looking out for some nice momentary switches. I do love the look of the Moto Gadget stuff. It's stupid money. I was looking at their indicators, 90 quid a corner. 90 quid a corner. I could use that money to do an awful lot of much nicer stuff. But I have found some other indicators that's like an aluminium body and all that sort of stuff, so they're on their way anyway. But I need to find some switches. If anybody's got any suggestions on momentary switches that actually look quite nice, I think I'm going to need... See, what I really want is a slidey jobby for the indicators, because I just like that, rather than having a button on the right and a button on the left for your indicators. I don't know, it just seems a bit like chavvy, doesn't it? Harley do that, I've never understood why. But anyway, if you've got any ideas on switches or you've seen anything recently, then again, just drop us a message in the comments or something, and I'll go and have a look-see and see what's what. But I want to change all the switch gear up the front, just because I think it's going to be better, basically. But anyway, that's it. That's everything that we came up with. That's what the plans are. That's what I want to do, so that's what I'm going to be doing. That's what's coming next. I'm still chewing over ideas on a seat hump. There was a fella chipped in saying to roll the edge, and that got me thinking, because the problem that I've got is there's going to be a curve here, but there's going to be a straight bit between the two, and the problem I've got is trying to get that dead straight so it marries up nicely to the back of the frame when I'm wheeling it, because you have to wheel past the point that you want the curve to stop. But I can't remember your name, I am sorry, but somebody said roll the edge, that might flatten it out. And I thought, okay, well hang on, if I roll it and I make it 90 degrees, I've got to shrink a stretcher under there, and you can put a curve into a straight piece of sheet metal just by shrinking or stretching a 90 degree fold on the end of it. So I might be having a go at that. That might work. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's only steel. If I cock it up, it will just go in the bin and I'll make another one. Or I might even go fiberglass. I don't know. But, you know, I've got some ideas there. I just need to Google it and YouTube it a bit more and see if it is actually going to work. So I'm probably going to have a break off that for the minute, and I'll just concentrate on something else. Oh yeah, if I do have to, when I run that high level exhaust over there, I am going to need to have something that comes off the frame for the strap that goes around, you know, the supporting strap that goes around the can. So there is going to be a tab with a hole in it that screws into, and it's going to be on that side. There's only going to be the one probably. But what I'm thinking of is kind of doing it so, I don't know, if you do want to run the exhaust on it at the minute that I've got, you know, the homemade jobby, you're just going to have that tab there. So I'm also looking around for like a helmet lock, a bolt-on helmet lock. Just because that could be a handy thing, and it would also fix to that tab. I'll just make it fit. So if you are going to run the current exhaust that's on it, it wouldn't look like there's just a tab stuck there out of place. Because I would need to support it off this part of the frame rail. So there you go. If you see one whilst you're goofing about on eBay, drop us a link. I'll go have a look-see and see if I can make it work. So anyway, that really is where I'm going to leave this one, because I do need to chip off. It is now 1:15. I've got an hour before I've got to leave from my work, so I'm probably getting KFC on the way home. But anyway, that's where I'm leaving it for this one. Thank you ever so much for watching. I do hope you're well and staying safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Laters!